A star dies. Billions of years later, you open your eyes. Everything you've ever seen began its journey somewhere else. The light touching your face this morning left the sun more than 8 minutes ago. The light from the stars above you may have begun traveling long before the first human ever looked into the night sky. Some of the galaxies we observe today no longer exist, yet their light continues arriving. Perhaps this is one of the strangest truths in the universe. We never see things as they are now, only as they once were. Every sunrise is already history. Every star is a message from the past. Even this moment, by the time you become aware of it, has already happened. Then you ask yourself something even stranger. If light can continue traveling, long after its source has changed, what else continues echoing? Hold your gaze on a bright light, just for a few seconds. Now, look away. The light has gone, yet its image remains. An afterimage. The event is over, the experience isn't. Your eyes remember what no longer exists. Not because they are broken, because every encounter leaves a trace. Neuroscience explains this through the way intense light temporarily alters the response of cells in the retina, allowing an image to linger even after the source has disappeared. A simple biological process, yet a profound metaphor. Perhaps reality is full of afterimages. The first light in the universe still echoes around us today as the faint glow of the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light we can observe, released roughly 380,000 years after the Big Bang and still traveling across space. The iron in your blood was forged inside stars that died before Earth existed. The calcium in your bones was born inside ancient suns. Your body is an archive of cosmic history. Maybe the universe has always remembered itself, not through thought, but through translation. Stars become elements, elements become planets, planets become oceans, oceans become life. Life becomes eyes, capable of looking back toward the stars that created them. Nothing has truly disappeared. It has only changed its form. Perhaps memory begins here, not inside the brain, but in the quiet truth that existence itself leaves traces. And if light can leave an imprint upon the eye, what happens when an experience leaves an imprint upon a life? Imagine a violin. One string is plucked. Across the room, another violin begins to sing. No one touched it. No one pulled its strings, yet something invisible passed between them. Not force, resonance. There is something beautiful about resonance. It does not create, it awakens. The second violin was always capable of producing that note. It simply needed something that already understood its language. Perhaps human beings are not so different. Have you ever caught the scent of perfume and suddenly found yourself somewhere you hadn't visited in years? Heard a song and felt your chest tighten before you could even know why? Walked into a room and sensed something was wrong without a single word being spoken. Experience has a strange way of returning, not because we choose it, because something resonates. For much of history, memory was imagined as a library, a collection of moments carefully stored somewhere inside the mind. But modern neuroscience paints a more dynamic picture. Every meaningful experience changes the brain. Connections strengthen, others weaken. New pathways emerge, old ones disappear. Memory is not simply something we possess. It is something that slowly reshapes the one who remembers. And the story doesn't end in the brain. Your heart changes its rhythm when you are afraid. Your rhythm shortens before you recognize danger. Your stomach tightens before difficult conversations. A familiar voice slows your heartbeat. A gentle embrace can calm a nervous system that words never could. The body often responds before the mind has finished thinking. Perhaps this is why some experiences remain with us for decades. Not because we replay them, because they quietly become part of us. Grief changes the way we stand. Love changes the way we speak. Loss changes the way we see tomorrow. Joy changes the way we remember yesterday. Experience does not simply pass through the body becomes its echo. Think again about the violin. When one string vibrates, another responds, only if they share the same frequency. Not every sound awakens every string, only the ones already capable of singing together. Perhaps people work the same way. Some words stay with us forever. Others disappear by morning. Some places feel strangely familiar the moment we arrive. Some people feel like home before we know their name. Not because the universe is speaking in certainties, but because resonance has a way of revealing what already lives within us. Perhaps memory is not simply the preservation of the past. Perhaps it is the quiet process through which the past continues participating in the present. And if a single life can be shaped by echoes, could an entire civilization be shaped the same way? There seems to be something curious that almost every civilization seems to understand. Some experiences change you forever, not gradually, completely. Across every continent, people created rituals, not simply to celebrate life, but to transform it. A child entered, an adult emerged. An ordinary person disappeared into the wilderness and returned as something different. Not because their body had changed, because something deeper had. The ancient Egyptians passed through chambers of darkness before emerging into light. Across Australia, initiation ceremonies mark the transition from one way of seeing the world to another, embedding identity with community, land, and ancestry. In many indigenous traditions throughout the world, vision quests carry seekers beyond the familiar, returning with stories that reshape both the individual and the community. The ancient Greeks entered the mysteries at Eleusis, where participants spoke of emerging with a fundamentally different relationship to life and death. Different cultures, different landscapes, different languages, yet the same pattern appeared again and again and again. Why? Why did humanity repeatedly believe a transformation required a journey into darkness, into silence, into uncertainty before returning changed? Look closely at the stories we still tell today. The hero leaves home, the old identity dies. The unknown must be entered willingly. Only then does something new emerge. Whether it's Gilgamesh, Odysseus, the Buddha, or countless oral traditions passed from one generation to the next, the pattern remains remarkably familiar. Perhaps these stories endure, not because they describe extraordinary people, but because they describe something ordinary that every human life eventually encounters. The moment when experience changes identity. Modern psychology recognizes that profound experiences can reorganize how we see ourselves and the world. Grief, love, parenthood, loss, illness, moments of awe. These experiences don't simply add new memories. They reshape the framework through which future experiences are understood. The person who walks into them is rarely the person who walks back out. Perhaps this is why our ancestors preserved these journeys in story, instead of in instructions, because transformation cannot be downloaded, it must be lived. A map is useful, but no map has ever been the mountain. And perhaps, hidden inside every initiation, every pilgrimage, every myth, every descent into darkness, was a quiet intuition that reality is not flat, that experience has depth. That beneath the visible world, there is an order waiting to be discovered. Not an order built from stone, not yet. An order felt long before it could ever be described. Perhaps humanity wasn't only preserving stories. Perhaps it was preserving the memory of an architecture it no longer had words for. Perhaps nothing in the universe is ever truly isolated. Every star is born from the remains of older stars. Every forest grows from generations that came before it. Every breath you take contains atoms once carried through ancient oceans, volcanoes, plants, and countless other living things. The universe does not begin again from nothing every moment. It continues, each moment shaping the next, not as repetition, as inheritance. Think about a single note played on a violin. The sound disappears, yet the instrument continues vibrating. The room continues vibrating. The air continues vibrating. The note is gone, its influence isn't. Perhaps existence unfolds in much the same way. Every interaction changes what follows. Not because the universe remembers as a human remembers, but because every event leaves conditions from which future events emerge. Stars forge the elements that become planets. Planets create the chemistry that makes life possible. Life reshapes the atmosphere. Civilizations reshape landscapes. Ideas reshape civilizations. Nothing stands alone. Everything inherits. Maybe this is why resonance feels so familiar. A song can awaken forgotten memories. A place can awaken forgotten emotions. A conversation can change the direction of an entire life. Not because the past returns unchanged, but because something within us recognizes a pattern that was already there. Resonance is not repetition, it is relationship. And the deeper we look, the less reality resembles separate objects, and the more it resembles an unfolding conversation between matter and energy, past and future, experience and identity, between everything that has ever touched everything else. Perhaps this is why the universe feels coherent. Not because every part is identical, but because every part belongs to something larger than itself. If perception renders reality and experience leaves echoes, then perhaps those echoes are not scattered randomly. Perhaps they belong to a deeper architecture. An architecture our ancestors sensed long before they could describe it. An architecture that modern physics has only begun to glimpse. An architecture hidden beneath matter, beneath memory, beneath history itself. Perhaps the question is no longer why experience leaves echoes. Perhaps the question is, what kind of universe allows echoes to exist at all?